everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a spoiler-free review of The Sin Eater's Daughter by Melinda Salisbury. So The Sin Eater's Daughter follows the story of Twyla, who is to be married to the Prince of Lormere. He's the future king. She holds a very important, title in the kingdom, and she is basically the goddess embodied, Dwynwen, I think, the goddess. She also serves as the kingdom's executioner, so that was pretty cool. Those who touch her, or those whom she touches, they die. Blood from the nose, eyes, ears, things like that. The only people who are not affected by her touch are the prince, the king, and the queen, by divine right, basically. The queen rules her people with fear, or by fear. Like, she's very cruel, very cold, very calculating. If you displease her in any way, if you speak out against her in any way, you will basically be killed. She will find some way to kill you, and she does not care who knows. Like, she's really mean. One of Twyla's only sources of companionship, you could say, is from her guards. They guard her, night and day. They are always with her. Not necessarily just for her protection, but also protection for other people as well. Because, like I said, if she touches them or they touch her, then they die. Unfortunately, not very many stick around long, so she tends to go through guards pretty quickly, except for one. He's been by her the longest, and she very much considers him a friend, even though they aren't friends in like that sense, but she does trust him and stuff. So although she is surrounded by people, she is very much alone, and that's gotta be real. Like, that's gotta suck. That's really gonna suck. So disaster strikes, and Twyla learns the truth behind her deadly touch, as well as a much darker plot hatched by the queen. Now she, the prince, and her last remaining guard must stop the queen from throwing the kingdom into war and just chaos and uncertainty. Okay, so the plot, it was pretty almost basic plot, honestly. A special girl engaged to a prince, and she has an evil mother-in-law who has to be stopped. There is another interesting part. It's almost like a fairy tale, that's what I said. But it isn't told until like later in the book. You get like little bits and pieces of it and leading up to that point. But the son is just like, do I want to come out? Do I want to hide? Anyway, so I don't want to go too much into detail, but it's a pretty nice twist that is later explored more in the second book, The Sleeping Prince. So that was cool. So characters, I connected very well with Twyla, although towards the end her decision-making skills were lacking. I found it very hard to connect with her on that part. Like, she's just very uncertain. It's like almost like she didn't want to make a decision, but she did. She just kind of flip-flopped back and forth. And there was kind of like a love triangle thing. Does she pick love, or does she pick justice and duty? So, I mean, it wasn't like bad. I know sometimes love triangles and all that can get kind of bad, but it wasn't. So I didn't feel a whole bunch for the prince, because he had been away for a while, and like, I don't know, like, they're supposed to be engaged and everything, but he has almost very little to do with her, and then all of a sudden he wants to see her almost daily. So that kind of got me a little, what's going on, The king is just very much a passive person. He very rarely actually stands up for his own beliefs. He pretty much just follows the queen, lets her do what she wants. Now the queen is freaking awful. There's this thing with, I mean, we've seen it in our history as well. The royal bloodlines. She is totally obsessed with keeping it pure. She was married to her brother, and they had a son and a daughter, and the daughter, because of, inbreeding, passed away, and the son was actually very handsome. But anyway, and then it goes on like that. She's very, very obsessed with it, and they're like, there's a whole little plot thing with that, and it's just like, ugh, it's just really gross, But I'm just like, ugh, you like legit married your brother and had 2 kids with him? Gross. The world building was pretty interesting. Science and magic kind of clashing, and beliefs being like proven to be false or true. So we were told a good amount of history about Lormir, the kingdom, and it's kind of the surrounding cities, I guess you could say. But I mean, it was pretty good. It wasn't like anything outrageous, So I ended up rating this book 4 stars. I'm really interested into reading a bit more about it, especially like the plot, the ending plot in this book was really, really cool, and like I want to know like how further it goes, Alright, that is it for my spoiler-free review of The Senator's Daughter by Melinda Salisbury. If you are new to my channel, welcome. Maybe consider subscribing. I'd really appreciate it. My Goodreads and Twitter accounts will be linked down below in case you want to follow me on any other social media. And as always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you later.